Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I'm more of a Doug, and Gary's more of a Roger.
And I'm Gary. And today we're going to review and discuss Dead Heat, which released in 1988 from writer Terry Black and director Mark Goldblatt. Ian, why don't you give us the synopsis?
Well, the story follows Treat Williams playing Roger Mortis and Joe Piscopo playing Doug Bigelow. They are a pair of detectives investigating some robberies in their city being done by some crazy men during the day with machine guns. These guys will not go down no matter how many bullets you put into them. And Doug and Roger investigate Dante Pharmaceuticals, which has a resurrection machine. As their investigation deepens, Roger and Doug might just face death around every corner.
Well, I can honestly say, Ian, I'd never heard of this film before.
Yeah.
Until you mentioned it a couple of times.
A couple
of times, I mean, for years now. I was like, fine, I'll finally check this film out. What's it about? It's got Treat Williams in it. I like him from Deep Rising. He's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look through the cast. Okay, some interesting faces here. It's got zombies in it?
Yeah.
Treat Williams was in a zombie movie? Well, I have to check this out. But yeah, this is a welcome surprise. And I said this to you before I turned the camera on. Whenever I'm sat down, I'm watching a film and I see the name Steve Johnson's effects company, I'm like, I can relax. I know I'm going to be treated to a visual, masterpiece of some kind. Hopefully the budget's high enough. I think the budget for this was around 5 million.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
No.
This one, is a gem for me. I mean, some people might say it's a bit cheesy, it's stupid, it's too short, the script doesn't work, the editing's all over the place, the acting's really bad, the effects only really start to kick in towards the end, but then again, you don't really see a lot of them. But I can't help it. I can't help but just love this movie. I remember seeing it late one night, and it was halfway through that when I caught it, Treat Williams was already a zombie at this point, and I'm thinking, what's going on? 'Cause Treat Williams, Deep Rising, Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. I like his acting, but he's not an award winner, I would say.
No.
But he can sell his characters, and so for years I was on it, Gary. Come on, let's do Dead Heat. And between the Patreon, choices and the other random ones that we end up doing, I might have been wrong.
Oh. Yeah, here's this film is not perfect. No. And it might, satiate that horror comedy action itch you might have. Because the film starts off very well.
Yeah.
With the title exploding on the screen. We can hear... then we cut to a bank robbery.
Yeah.
We follow these two bumbling criminals.
The drive up, he's like, come on! Come on! Come on! Come on!
So they start robbing. They can't even break the glass to get into the jewelry, so we start shooting it all, and you're like, what's glass and what's jewelry now?
Yeah.
And so, and then we eventually cut to Doug Bigelow and Roger Mortis, Joe Piscopo and Treat Williams.
Yeah.
Driving around, and they get the call that there's a robbery, and they're requested to be there.
The red Cadillac, I think, is a bit much. I mean, is it? It
says a Chevrolet Impala convertible, and it's that beautiful crimson red color. It's glorious 80s cop mobile.
Exactly. I mean, that's what I'm looking at. I'm like, how did these cops have this kind of car as they're bombing around? And it's the conversation in the car. Treat Williams like, Doug, I thought we were,
undercover.
Yeah. I thought we were plain clothes today, but you're undercover. And Doug's like, yeah, I changed my mind. And you're like...
All right, so that's the tone, right? And it's a buddy cop formula. Here we go.
Yeah, and then they get to the bank robbery, and the two bank robbers have come out, and it's broad daylight, and they just start shooting up the place. And I don't think I've seen this many cops die unless it was Predator 2.
Right. Yeah. Well, this film apparently boasts a body count of around 32.
Wow.
And we're getting quite a few of them right at this opening sequence as, cops are just being shot left, right, and center. And this is how you know that the film's tone is wacky and comedy, because We follow Roger and Doug as they camper and hide behind the car for cover.
Yeah.
And they start cracking jokes. They start quipping one-liners. And I'm like, at least 6 to 8 of your police force buddies are lying dead on the ground and you two are just joking it up. And then and then I'll say, hey, we've got the doctor. It's Robert Picardo.
Yeah.
He turns up and he's like, rah, 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 rah. I'm your captain. You're late. You shouldn't be doing this. He's like, hey, captain, can I borrow your car? And he's like, absolutely not. And he's already in the car driving it past, shooting the shotgun out the window. He swerves around. The other guy gets shot, drops his grenade.
Yeah, he gets shot in the hand, drops a grenade on his feet and just explodes.
Well, that's until he looks at the camera and goes, oh no. Kaboom. All right, great. So how is he going to take out the last guy?
Oh, he just rams that car right into that bank robber, right into the wall. And it's like, wow, got some paperwork to do now, boys.
At that moment, I was like, this is brilliant. I cannot believe I've never seen this film before because the effects were cheesy, but the ragdoll effect of him hitting, I was like, oh, this is brilliant. This is the opening scene.
Yeah.
and then it cuts straight, hard cut to the police, precinct sergeant.
Yeah.
Angry black man yelling at them, the two of them, you're loose cannons. You've already violated all of these laws and you're already on probation.
Twice. You're on probation twice. And Doug's like, well, sir, that wasn't my fault. That was Roger. And then Roger's like, well, that wasn't my fault. That was Doug's fault. And who's got the parking tickets? And they both kind of look at each other. And it's a weird gelling between Joe Piscopo and Treat Williams because I really like Treat Williams. Every time I watch a film with him in, it's enjoyable, but when I watch this, Joe Piscopo is kind of knocking out these one-liners that I'm like, it's kind of unnatural, but it's late 80s. It's a zombie movie. I've just watched some guys get smashed up in the road. I don't care.
Right, well, let's investigate. How did these two, jewelry store robbers take so many bullets?
Well, that's it. They head to the morgue and they speak to the doctor down there. Dr. Smithers, played by Claire Kirkconnell, and she explains that actually I autopsied these guys already. Look at the line, look at the stitching. I did that. I signed it off. And then you've got Dr. McNabb, played by Darren McGavin, the dad from fucking A Christmas Story.
Brilliant. I reckon you can recognise him straight away, don't you?
It's his voice. It's the way he kind of walks in and goes, well, nobody can be perfect. You must have signed it off. And I'm like, he's just playing it off like he was the dad in Christmas Story.
Yeah, it's like that's nothing, but it's probably just her making mistakes.
And that, gentlemen, is what autopsies are all about.
Yes, oh.
I beg your pardon.
It's fascinating.
Yes, isn't it? Yeah.
You've got to admit it is very strange.
Strange, yes.
Excuse me.
Hey, doctor, what is this for anyway?
Oh, you wouldn't want to know.
But you get this kind of love thing going on between Roger and Dr. Smithers, like...
It's his ex, I think?
Yeah, or they've dated a couple of times, and she really likes him, but Roger is about the job, and it's the filler. Treat Williams sells it, but I'm like, where are all the zombies? And Doug's just like, hey, we've got to go investigate this other place, this Dante Pharmaceuticals, because they've got this massive quantity of this chemical that you say were in the body, so let's go. They walk in, they find the security guard reading a Playboy.
Yeah. He's like, a part of me to interrupt your erection, but we need to see the boss. It's like, okay. And then they get like a little tour around, don't they?
Yeah.
And like, here's the execution chamber. Oh, that's great. The character's Randy James, played by Lindsay Frost, and she just shows them all around. She's like, oh, this is all the things that we do here.
Yeah,
you know? She's like their PR representative of the company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, this is the room that we bring the animals and we asphyxiate them. If we need to put them down. And you're like, this whole room? And you've even got this little dog outside the room, I think, they were supposed to use to emphasize and make jokes, but you don't actually see it until the fight sequence turns up.
Well, that's because Doug is like, oh, I need to find the little boy's room. And off he wanders. He's like, oh, time to do some snooping. And then he gets jumped and attacked by what's credited as the Thing. And it's a giant zombie with like a cracked face head.
Sorry, before we get to the zombie fight, it's the fact he takes his ID card, which I'm pretty sure says visitor, and he jams it into the machine and breaks it and opens the door like, ta-da! And I'm like, this movie. But yeah, the fight with the zombie.
Well, it's at this point that obviously Mortis, Roger's like, where's my partner? I need to go find him. And he ends up getting trapped and locked in the decontamination execution chamber. And so he's banging on there as the air pressure's being removed out of it. And by the time Doug deals with the thing, his partner has just died.
No!
Well, that's a good job. This building has a resurrection machine.
Yeah!
That the HR PR lady's just like, oh, we'll just take him there right now. Why not? He's fresh.
No. Actually, she disappears.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want to get involved with a zombie, and it's Dr. Smithers.
Oh,
who
that's
turns
right.
up
Yes.
From the morgue, and she comes down and she speaks to Doug, and Joe Piscopo is trying his best to emote to us that he's lost his partner of X amount of years, and. He shows Smithers, he goes, look, this was the machine I was investigating and this is where the monster was. And she's like, oh my God, if we put tissue on this, we can bring it back to life.
Right.
How long has Roger been dead for? An hour. Oh, that should be okay. Yeah, but what happens if he comes back as an undead brain-eating zombie? And she's like, well, you'll shoot him in the face, Doug. And he's like, cheers, thanks.
What if he wakes up like some mindless idiot?
Then I hope you'll shoot him in the head.
Thanks a lot.
And so they grab Treat Williams' body and they throw him on there, and there's some kind of superimposed blue lightning onto his body, and you got to sell it to Treat. He moves like he's electrocuted, and then his eyes just snap open, and he's like, "Hey guys,
What happened? Oh, my memory. I kind of just passed out while you were fighting something.
yeah, I feel absolutely great. I feel energetic, like nothing hurts at all." And then they're like, "Well, you have no heartbeat."
Yeah. And then
You
in
have
comes
no
the
pulse.
doctor again as well, and he's just like, it's got to be some kind of trick.
Yeah, you can't be dead at all. See ya. And he
He just leaves again.
Sus.
Yes.
I mean, this is, I suppose, I'll be honest, this is where the lull starts with the movie. We've had this really great intro. We've got this introduction of this resurrection machine, and we've got this mystery of who killed Roger, and now he's got a time limit until he kind of liquidates
Been
into
told
a
he's got,
puddle.
what, 12 odd hours before a decomposition just takes him out. Yeah, he melts.
Yeah, and so him and Doug decide that they're going to go and find Randy James and investigate, because obviously she just happened to up and disappear. And they get to her place, and Doug finds a videotape with fucking Vincent Price on it, who appears to be dying in the bed, talking about Randy is his daughter, and he's about to tell us some really great information. And two zombies turn up and start shooting up the place with machine guns.
Brilliant!
But I'm like, why? We were about to get some kind of story, some kind of twist, and you just randomly turn up with these
Hey
zombies.
man, I'll take some gun-toting zombies over some story sometimes.
Their face mask and stuff just looks.
I don't know. I was okay with the makeup
Yeah.
effects. Yeah, like for the time, I was like, yeah, you know what, these are fine.
I
These are fine.
do love
What-
it when Treat Williams uses his body as a
Yeah.
bulletproof to kind of protect his friends.
What annoys me with this film, though, is that Treat, he's a zombie now.
Yeah.
And when he's in the lab, he cuts his hand. Or cuts his wrist, massively gashed. And he's like, why aren't I bleeding anywhere? Look, and it's kind of sparkling inside.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, we'll stitch it up. It's all right. But then when these zombies, like, get impaled and land in the swimming pool,
Yeah.
they die.
They die.
The other one gets electrocuted and dies. So I was like, what?
Yeah,
How do you kill these zombies?
electrocution.
And at the same time, they've also told, their heart's not beating, so there's no blood.
Yeah.
I'm just going to quick freeze frame here of Treat Williams covered in blood after being shot. I'm like, So you can see how much thought went into the making of the film parts here, where it's just like slapdash, doesn't matter, move on.
Yeah, like I said, like for me, this is where the lull kind of does start. Because even though this action sequence is cool, they shoot at the place, they end up killing the zombies. It's like, hang on a minute, you just impaled that one and threw
And he
him into
fell
the
off,
pool. It should have been a longer fight sequence. The electrocution, I get. Like,
Sure.
Return of the Living Dead Part 2.
Fair, yeah.
But then continuity again on top of that falls out the window when Treat Williams, who's got blood all over him from being shot, they're like, oh, people will think you're dead. You can't walk around like that. And Randy goes off and gets her ex-boyfriend's clothes for him.
Yeah.
He goes into the bathroom to get changed, right?
Yeah, quick jump scare.
Takes off his top though.
Oh, there's no bullet wounds.
holes.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. They just... Yeah, it's annoying, but like it's like you just can't. Yeah, I'm like, it's a comedy film. I can't keep getting caught up on this.
I wonder, like, part of me wonders, because I have so much fun with it, wonders if, like, the budget fell out at one point and so they weren't able to keep the story going, or if the story fell out but they had the money to keep the movie going. Something happened where they were like, we just need to keep filming these scenes. And because the editor must have been sitting there going,
yeah, how am I supposed to stitch this together?
like, you want me to take out how much?
Like putting jigsaw pieces together but they don't connect quite right.
Exactly,
Force
yeah.
it. But you said that there's a lull coming. For me, the lull comes after the next sequence, because once they start talking to her, she's like, well, we did sell some of that stuff to this Chinese restaurant, to this
Mr. Thule.
Thule, so let's go there and investigate him.
Did you look him up?
No.
He was played by an actor called Key Luke.
Okay.
Right? And don't recognize him at all?
I didn't know.
Didn't recognize his voice?
No.
He's the old man from Gremlins. Yeah.
There's no beard. There's no beard.
I wikied it. I didn't have to wiki Dead Heat. I've watched it like 4 times. But I was looking at the actors and I came across Mr. Thule and I was like, no ways. But he invites everybody into his Chinese shop, and you've got Professor Tanaka playing the butcher. Did you recognize him?
No.
It's Sub-Zero from The Running Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Look at me. But they start to get a bit aggressive to each other, the butcher and Doug. You know, Roger is sure that something is up, and Mr. Thule's just like, I'm out of here, and activates a magic switch, which turns on the thing in the ceiling, which becomes like his own personal resurrection machine, but in this shop. And so Doug and Roger have to fight the Chinese food.
I don't know what it is, but suddenly I've lost my appetite.
Yes, class. Again, it reminds me of Return of the Living Dead. You know, all of the dead, pinned taxidermy animals coming to life, kind of thing. So yeah, like all the chickens coming to life and attacking her at her ankles.
How is this some kind of threat?
The pig that gets up out of the dish.
The giant pig from the freezer.
Yes.
I really love that suit, but
it's a dude in that suit as well. Yeah.
But you imagine Treat Williams must have been there on that day going, I'm sorry, I'm fighting what now?
Yeah, you're fighting Chinese food.
I mean, I'm kind of like Doug.
But I mean, he gets what, like a slab of meat just wrapped around his face?
I'm kind of like Doug. I'm like, maybe I won't have Chinese food for a little while.
He lost his appetite.
Watching the duck head quack on the table.
Now, I'm talking about continuity. There's a weird shot. At first, I was just like, it was an edit trick where Doug's laying on the ground and he throws the chicken.
Right.
And it lands in the blender. Because the next shot, you see the meat, the mince coming out.
Yeah.
But I was like, my brain went, nah. My eyes went, yeah, it landed. And my brain went, no, it didn't. It's like, oh, God damn it. Right, stop the movie. I had to stop the movie.
Yeah.
Right, let's load this up in some editing software now.
Okay.
And let's go frame by frame by frame. I was like, because there were strobe lights, you know. I was like, maybe I was wrong. I was like, oh, let's just watch it normal. And I was like, yeah, there's definitely something wrong. And it looks like the edit occurs where he's missed.
Yeah.
And then in the next shot, it's in.
So somebody just drops it in.
That's what. Well, no, it's just in there. Like he throws it, it hits the bottom of it, and misses the top entirely.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, so in the next shot, it's just being grinded, and your brain just, it's a quick edit. Your brain just 1 and 2 together, yeah. But then on the rewatch in slow motion, the thing hits it and misses and starts falling. And then for some reason climbs up and then goes into the top of it. I was like, how did that even, like, if it was just an edit when it missed and it's in there, great, but how did it hit it, start falling down and then roll up into it for the next shot?
Momentum.
So I was like, at that moment onward, for the rest of the movie, I was still wondering what happened with that chicken in the grinder.
That's it. From now on, I'm a vegetarian.
So after the Chinese restaurant, they hook up with Dr. Smithers again, and it's a bit chilly atmosphere between Randy and Dr. Smithers because they both kind of want Roger's attention. I mean, Doug's in the back like, hey guys, I'm also in the movie too. And everyone's like, we don't care. We're following Treat Williams. Of course, he's the hero. And Treat Williams comes up with the idea of, look, I want to go and investigate Arthur Loudermilk's Vincent Price's character's grave, because apparently he died 2 weeks ago and left everything to Randy, the whole company and stuff. But we feel like he must be up to something with this resurrection machine. And Randy's just like, well, I don't want to go with you. But he's like, look, you have to stay with me. Doug, you and Dr. Smithers go out the movie forever.
Yeah.
And we'll catch up with you at some point. And so they head to the grave, they investigate there, and then they head back to Doug's apartment. Doug's been killed off screen.
What?
It fucking sucks.
I mean, at first I was just like, when she said Doug died, I was like, who's Doug? I don't remember who Doug is. Because he's called Bigelow, and like they call him that mostly.
Yeah.
And because they cut to his face, and I was just like,
Yeah.
who?
In the fish tank.
I was like, well, that's definitely not his partner. And he's not really showing much emotion about it one way or the other. He's just like, oh, Doug's dead. Oh, no.
Doug's legs have been tied and he's head down. So from the looks of it, we missed a large group of zombie men, I'm assuming, attack Doug's apartment with guns, fight him, tie him down, hang him up, and then lower him into his own fish tank. Which I also noticed on this watch through. There's an awful lot of fish tanks.
There are. There's because she's got a fish tank in her office, and then
there's a fake one.
Yeah.
There's the blue one at Randy's place, and then Doug gets killed by a fish tank.
Yeah, fish.
I don't know why. But they cut down Doug, and Randy decides that she's got to at this moment have a shower. For reasons, and
I was like, oh, gratuitous necrophiliac moment if they're gonna be the sex scene while he's zombifying.
Yeah, possibly, but
no, the film's got a new twist for you. She wants out of the movie.
Yes, it turns out that Randy isn't even at all related to Arthur or works at the company or anything. It turns out that she was just at the hospital. And they used the resurrection machine to bring her back to life. And she was supposed to be a front for the person who actually killed Roger.
Yeah.
But she was told that she could live for a very long time if they kept giving her this medication. But it's not true because she's found out that obviously Roger is going to be dying in like 40 minutes. And it's happening quickly for her. And this animation, I think, is pretty cool.
I like the prosthetics, the effect of moving up the hand,
up to the arm,
the arm falling off.
I mean, her whole face kind of drooping to one side doesn't look too great. You can tell it's a mask, but it's when her head comes off, and it turns into kind of weird early CGI.
Well, I mean, it's basically just a cross wipe fade, as you can see it all moving away. But for me, it was the fact that. Despite being decapitated, despite having no tongue, no lips, no neck, no vocal cords, no sinew to move the jaw.
She's like, forgive me.
I'm sorry. I'm like, how are you talking, Skull? It's magic now.
It's magic.
I'm sorry, Roger. Please forgive me.
But I mean, I loved the effect. Even though it was dated, the practical stuff that was there was fantastic. And the shot of her like cowering to not show her hideous melting half face, I was like, it was all very, very good. But I was still just going, how is the skull talking? What is this film?
And you were still thinking about that other thing about.
And I'm still, how did the chicken get in the grinder? How did Doug get killed off screen?
And then Roger goes outside and comes across Dr. McNabb. Oh no, what's he doing here? Well, it turns out that he's killed Dr. Smithers off screen. And he knows that... Yes.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna.
And so now he goes, hey, Roger, you're going to be melting in a puddle in about 30 minutes. So we're just going to handcuff you in the inside of this ambulance and leave you there.
What?
And Roger's like, damn you, what am I going to do? I've got undead, like, immunity and whatnot at the moment. I don't know.
I mean, at first I was like, he can just cut his hand off.
I don't know why he goes through this effort. He decides that he's going to reach for the handbrake of the ambulance because he's really obviously upset that Dr. Smithers is dead and he wants to kill them all. Which, from Treat Williams, this is some good emoting. Like, he's really angry and for the kind of third act of the movie, you're hoping that it just goes down in a blaze of glory. And he activates the handbrake of the ambulance and it rolls into the next car, Like, did the director go, we need a second car
Right.
to pull the ambulance, maybe? I don't know, but...
We just need a pile up. We need
Yeah.
some action.
Like, I'm pretty sure they're in Los Angeles.
I think so.
Right, exactly. Because at this point with these hills, I'm like, are they in San Francisco?
Right, yeah.
Because luckily they've got a hill and they start building up momentum. And Roger's just like, I'm going to crash this ambulance and that will get me free. I'm really sorry, Dr. Smithers, that I have to explode your body
Right.
to rescue myself. But he hits into a bunch of traffic at the bottom of the hill. I do like the close-up of Treat Williams, like, whoa, let's go! And he crashes, and there's a bit of an explosion, and then a bit of a fade, because it takes a while for the other ambulance to turn up.
Yeah. And he ends up being put in a body bag and
Yeah.
taken off, but then he unzips it and steps out. And the paramedics are like, easy, mister.
Yeah,
You've been terribly hurt. Now, did you recognize the patrolman that comes up?
I did see it on the list, but I forgot to write his name down.
Well, that was the writer of this film's younger brother,
Oh.
Shane Black.
Oh, I know.
That's the Kiss Kiss Bang Bang guy.
Oh,
That's the Lethal Weapon rider.
Yes. Nice.
And he's just like, yeah, you can take my gun. Clearly you are a police officer. You've still got a badge. But at this point, like, I mean, his name's Mortis. Like,
Yeah.
it's Latin for death.
Yeah.
So he gives Mortis his gun, and Mortis at this point, and he's already like pretty zombified, but now he's burnt down the side of his face, his eyes closed over. I was
Yeah.
like, man, this makeup stuff's great. Like they're really applying it to Treat here.
But that's
It's
it.
cool.
They didn't have a lot, but they were like, look, we need to make him look.
Messed up.
Yeah.
And then he gets on a motorbike and heads right back to where the institute is.
Yeah, Dante Pharmaceuticals, and you've got McNabb giving a speech to a bunch of rich people, because it turns out there is a plot of the movie. It turns out some rich people have been elongating their lives with the resurrection machine that Vincent Price, Arthur Loudermilk's people have made, and it turns out that Vincent Price is alive, and it's really cool. I don't know if this is like his last performance, but he doesn't do a lot. He kind of walks on screen like, hey everybody, we're in a horror movie.
I think he filmed for like 3 days for this film, and the
felt
film
like-
was shot in like 37 days.
I was going to say, it feels like 20 minutes he came on scene, just did his thing. But it's cool. Him and Dr. McNabb have got this deal going where McNabb is kind of funding this all with the zombies that he's been kind of bringing back to life and sending out to do robberies, and they bring him the money. And hopefully he's dealt with the police. And we get those 2 random security guards just like sat at the desk.
Yeah.
And Roger rides his bike right into the front desk.
Yeah, smashes through the window, slides
Yeah.
across the ground, shoots them too.
And then he gets his machine guns and he faces off against one guard, and the other guard must be a zombie too, because
Yeah.
they just fucking shoot the shit out of each other.
I love that. I absolutely love that. There's 2 zombies with machine guns just firing. Now, apparently that sequence was supposed to be even longer.
Yeah.
The studio were like, no, cut that. I was like, oh, come on.
we need an
That should have been
uncut.
comically long.
Yeah.
Like, they should have been fired off all rounds, started reloading in front of each other, shooting again.
Well, that's
you know?
it. You can see the end fight is him forcing him into the asphyxiation room, because obviously the pressure might crush him. But he throws in a grenade just for measure, and then fires in some extra rounds just as the doors close in. And then Roger walks into the big meeting, and he's like confronted by everybody there, and he's got his machine gun, and McNabb's angry, and he tells them not to get up. But they do. So,
So he shoots him.
So he starts shooting. Well, no, he's
I told you
shooting.
not to get up.
He's shooting at the guards. The
Yeah.
guards start shooting at everybody else. And he's just like, yeah, told you not to get up. And he confronts McNabb at the resurrection machine. But McNabb has one last trick up his sleeve. He reveals Doug, brought back to life with the resurrection machine.
Also cleaned up his bloating from drowning pretty well, actually. So yeah, now he orders Doug, who's now, because he's been dead so long, he's now a mindless soldier. He's just a foot soldier in his zombie army.
Yeah.
And he orders him to now kill his old partner and best friend. And as he's strangling him, Roger's just like, hey, remember the lipstick?
Yeah.
Hey, remember it's our death day. We both died today. Hey, remember it's me.
Your partner. And Doug's just like, it does bring out your eyes.
Doug, remember the lipstick? Mulberry wine brings out my eyes.
He wanted me to kill you. Let's kill him.
Oh.
And so the two of them confront McNabb.
Well, they're about to.
Yeah, and he fucking shoots himself. And I'm like, whoa, the dad from Christmas Story just committed suicide. But luckily, they've got a resurrection machine.
Well, how did he not think that he died right in front of... Like, did he blew his brain out, maybe? But then again, like, he shot himself in the head.
Dude.
It cuts. There's no wound. There's no injury. There's no...
Dude, remember the chicken.
Yeah. How did it get in that blender, man? I'm never going to know. Carry on, Iain. Sorry.
And they use the resurrection machine on McNabb, but they use it to the point where he just absolutely explodes. You love an explosion.
Oh, I do. That was... Hey, what happens if you resurrect them twice? Yeah. Oh, they explode. Brilliant.
Yeah.
And then the two of them are like, right, job's done, let's walk out.
That's it.
And as they're leaving, like, just about to leave, Vincent Price steps out and he's like, no, don't destroy the machine. I was like,
yeah.
Now you've just given them the idea because they go, oh yeah, let's turn around and blow up the machine now.
Yeah.
You idiot. And he's like, no, don't destroy it. We can live forever. I'll give you whatever you want. Money, power, live forever, ever.
That's what I mean. Vincent Price, they were just like, we need you to ad-lib here. We don't know what the ending's going to be. And then they turn to Treat and fucking Joe and they're just like, just shoot the fucking place up, guys.
I mean, I got to props to Vincent Price. Like, when he steps out, when he turned up on the monitors on the old TV, I was like, oh, that all he's in this for?
Yeah.
Oh, he's dead already before the film even started. But then when he steps out of the shadows and he's talking to everyone, I was like, you know what? Awesome. Like, we've got an icon of the horror genre right here. He's selling everything. Like, it's, I don't know, it's Vincent Price just has that charisma.
Oh, totally.
That you buy it. Like, all of a sudden, this whole weird zombie world with
wanted
resurrection
more.
devices and Chinese food missing blenders.
Exactly.
Like, I believe it all now because Vincent Price said it.
Like, I'm pretty sure he got shot, but did Mr. Thule get shot or get away? Like...
Well, I mean, our two heroes walk off into heaven?
Yeah.
Or they melt right as soon as they get outside onto the...
Well, that's it. And they're like... in like 10 seconds, Roger's going to be a puddle. But like in an hour or a couple more, Doug's going to be a puddle? Do they just go out drinking and driving?
They start talking about resurrection and what they'd like to come back as.
Dead Heat 2. Dead Heat 2.
Well, that's funny you should say that because that was the studio. That was the producers of the film. So the writer and directors, like,
Man.
Dead Heat 2 when?
Yeah.
And the writer was just like, nah, everybody in the film's dead. So, no. And the studio went, resurrection machine.
Yeah.
And the writer went, I'm done. I'm done. See ya.
No.
So, yeah, it's never come to be. And now, sadly, with Treat no longer with us either. I don't think I'd want a Dead Heat 2 with just Joe Piscopo.
No. But they could get other people in.
Yeah. Iain, what were your favourite scenes?
You know what? I could narrow it down and say most of the sequences with Treat Williams in, his lines are just absolutely brilliant. And then what kind of makes it stupider, makes it cheesier, is just him bouncing off of Doug. The story, I wanted more, and maybe that's the problem with the movie, is because they cut out so much and kept the pace going and tried to make it just all jokes which don't really fully pay off. I needed more story so that the two of them could have been more of a buddy cop. I needed more zombie shootouts, not just some kind of Chinese shop weird zombie pig thing, which looks cool. It always makes me think of Silent Hill.
Sure,
If I look at Silent Hill now, I'd be like, Dead Heat. The melting of Randy in the shower, like, weird. Like Gary said, like, how is her head still talking? I never thought about that. And I have to go back and look at that chicken bit into the grinder now. That's in the back of my head. I absolutely love this movie.
Yeah, like, there are some very memorable moments in the film. I really enjoyed the opening 5 minutes, the robbery, and then the grenade drop, and then him smacking into the other one with a car. I was like, I'm in. And then as soon as it hard cuts to the angry detective guy yelling, I was like, all right, this is it. Hit me with all the tropes and cliches movie. As long as you keep giving me splatter and gore and shootouts and bizarre, creative, whatever you've got in store, keep it up. But yeah, for me, the film does lose its momentum.
Yeah.
But it's only because that opening 5 minutes was so good. I do think that the best effect and the best sequence in the film is Randy melting in the
Yeah.
shower. I do think, like, as on a second watch of the film, I felt like the sequence with her hand, it was on screen too long. But on the first time watch, I was like, it was fascinating. I'm like fascinated watching it, but it did feel like it was a bit too long a sequence. But the effects is what really made that work. I loved all the zombie effects throughout the film, and I also really enjoyed watching Treat Williams' slow degradation throughout the film.
Yeah.
From just the sunken eyes to the skin slowly changing color, the hair coming out.
Yeah.
I just wish, like, there was a moment where he's just like, "Oh, I'm actually dying," but the film just like, we ain't got time to be dealing with that. Like, he got people with bad guys to shoot, so it's okay. The Chinese restaurant sequence, I really enjoyed that set piece. I like the lighting, the mood, the actors involved, and when that happens, that's the thing. The film sets you up like almost anything can happen with these zombies now, but nothing in the rest of the film from beats this moment here.
I do think it's funny when like they shoot the butcher and he dies.
Yeah.
And Doug's like, he's not a zombie. And Treat Williams is like, not everybody's a zombie. I'm like,
yeah,
perfect opportunity for a zombie.
Right? Yeah. There was some great lines as well where, isn't it like, you remember the good old days when guns actually killed people? And it's just like, so there's little lines like that to follow on from the zombie kind of, jokes throughout the film. But yeah, really my favorite sequence, the beginning and the melting in the bathroom. Iain, you recommend it?
I totally recommend this movie. It's just stupid, but it's stupid and fun. And it's a shame that something happened in production between the budget or between the script that you lose momentum halfway through the movie. But Treat Williams. I absolutely love Treat Williams. If you ever sat through and watched Deep Rising, you should watch Dead Heat. It's got zombies in it.
Yeah, I'm also going to be recommending Dead Heat. This was a fun time, mostly, filled with creative effects and over-the-top shootouts, zombies, explosions, and gore. Treat Williams was fantastic as the deadpan, straight-talking maniac cop, and Joe Piscopo had a good balance of crass comedy and stupidity mixed into the script, and the two worked well together. The effects were also great. Steve Johnson and the visual effects team pulled out all the tricks to keep the bizarre carnage going, with melting faces and undead chickens and exploding bodies. It's a little dated now, but it's practical and it's fun to watch. The tone of the film and pace, though, is a mess. It doesn't balance the action, comedy, and horror all that well, and almost becomes slightly mean-spirited towards the end after all the blasé deaths that preceded it. So yeah, I'm going to say this is absolutely worth a watch for horror and comedy fans, and if you like Treat Williams and the legendary Vincent Price, you really might want to watch this nearly forgotten gem of a film. You can't keep a good cop dead. Thanks for watching Off the Shelf Reviews.
Hey, you're hurt. Lady, I'm fucking dead.